Listen to me. You were never born to crawl with the timid. You were never designed to bow before fear. Inside of you, there is a roar this world has not heard yet, a fire not yet seen, a storm not yet unleashed. You are a lion, not a sheep, not a follower, not a pawn. You are the king of your own territory. But if you don't wake up, if you don't rise up, if you don't claim your ground, the world will trample over you like you never existed. This life isn't given to the weak. It's conquered by the bold. Today, you will remember who you are. Today, you will stop playing small. Today, you unleash the lion within. The mentality of a lion. The power of belief. Let me tell you something that might disturb the weak and awaken the mighty. You are not a sheep. You were never meant to be. The sheep waits to be led. The sheep waits for direction. The sheep needs a shepherd to move forward. But a lion needs no crowd to roar. A lion moves not by external validation, but by internal revelation. The lion believes he is king before he ever becomes one. That's the power of mentality. You see, it is not your environment that defines you. It's not your background, your bank account, your connections, or your qualifications. It is your mind. It is your inner picture. It is your inner roar. The lion is not the largest in the jungle. The lion is not the smartest. The lion is not the fastest. But what sets him apart is that he believes he owns the jungle. Let me break this down, and hear me clearly. The moment you shift your belief, you shift your position. The moment you begin to see yourself differently, the world begins to respond to you differently. It's not about size, it's about sight. It's not about power, it's about perception. It's not about strength, it's about spiritual stature. What do you believe about yourself? Because if you believe you're a victim, you will always attract defeat. But if you believe you're a lion, you will walk into every environment with presence, with power, and with purpose. A lion believes first. Then he conquers. You don't wait for evidence before you move. You move because your mentality makes room for your manifestation. That's why lions don't look around for consensus. They look within for confidence. When the lion sees the elephant, he sees lunch. When the elephant sees the lion, he sees a threat. What do you see when you look at your problems? What do you see when you look at your dreams? What do you see when you look in the mirror? Because if you see weakness, you'll act weak. If you see failure, you'll behave like a failure. But if you see a lion, you'll rise. You'll fight. You'll reign. Let this truth roar inside you. Your external reality is a reflection of your internal revelation. You cannot have a king's results with a servant's mindset. You cannot walk in authority while carrying the mentality of captivity. That's why the battle is not around you, it is within you. And until you conquer your mind, you will never conquer your mountain. So today, before we talk about the roar, before we talk about the fight, before we talk about the jungle, we must deal with your mentality. Because until your mind transforms, your life remains the same. Until you believe you are born to lead, you'll stay hidden in the shadows. Until you believe that what's inside you is greater than what's against you, you'll live beneath your potential. So here is the charge. Wake up the lion within. Reprogram your mentality. Reclaim your dominion. This is not just motivation. This is a divine confrontation. You are not weak. You are not average. You are not forgotten. You are a lion, and it's time you start thinking like one. Lions don't follow, they lead. Let me make this clear, and may it pierce through every ounce of timidity in your soul. You were not created to follow the crowd. You were created to stand out, to rise up, to lead. That's the nature of a lion. Lions don't wait for a consensus to move. Lions don't look for applause before they act. Lions lead, even when the jungle is full of louder voices, bigger animals, and greater opposition. Leadership is not about position, it is about posture. It's a mindset, a decision, a responsibility. And hear me, every single one of us is called to lead in some area of life, whether it's in your family, your career, your business, your ministry, or your purpose. You cannot afford to let the opinions of sheep silence your roar. You cannot afford to let fear make your decisions for you. Lions don't ask for permission to be great, they just are. They don't blend in, they stand tall. And here's the raw truth. If you don't lead your life, someone else will. If you don't own your decisions, someone else will dictate them for you. You see, too many people today are waiting. Waiting for motivation. Waiting for a sign. Waiting for approval. Waiting for someone to crown them king before they step up. But lions don't wait to be crowned. They act like kings, and the jungle adjusts. You don't lead because you have authority. You gain authority because you lead. Look at the lion. He's not the tallest in the wild. He's not the fastest on the run. But he leads because his presence commands attention. His mindset says, where I walk becomes mine. Where I step, I dominate. That's what the jungle respects. Conviction. You don't need to scream to lead. You just need to walk with confidence. You need to act with intention. You need to move with clarity and conviction. Because when you're sure of who you are, the world around you begins to respond. Let me ask you, who's leading your life? Is it your past? Is it your pain? Is it people's opinions? Or are you finally ready to rise up, stand tall, and say, this is my time. This is my jungle. This is my moment. Lions lead because they are not afraid to go first. They're not afraid to take the hit. They're not afraid to make the call. They don't follow the trend, they set it. And I speak this into your spirit right now. The world doesn't need another follower. It needs you to lead. Lead in faith. Lead in discipline. Lead in character. Lead in your vision. Lead in your business. Lead in your mindset. Even if no one's clapping. Even if no one understands. Even if the crowd turns away, you lead anyway. Because you are the lion. You are not ordinary. You are not average. You were not born to blend in. You were born to dominate. So here's the roar. Stop following. Start leading. Stop hesitating. Start stepping. Stop shrinking. Start showing up. Because leaders roar while others whisper. And if the world hasn't heard your roar yet, maybe today is the day you let it loose. The lion mentality is ruthlessly fearless. Never surrenders. Listen to me carefully. Fear is not your friend. Fear is not your protector. Fear is not your covering. Fear is a thief. It will rob you of your destiny, your voice, your brilliance, your potential. But the lion has no space for fear. The lion walks into a storm without flinching. It faces a pack of hyenas without backing down. It walks into unfamiliar territory, not with fear, but with focus. Why? Because the lion knows who he is. Fearlessness is not the absence of fear, it's the domination of fear. It's the decision that says, I feel it, but I'm still moving. I'm surrounded, but I'm not surrendering. I may be bleeding, but I will not back down. That's what separates the lion from every other creature in the wild, and that's what will separate you from every other soul sleepwalking through life. Hear me today. You will never win this fight called life if you keep retreating every time you feel pressure. You will never rise to greatness if you keep bowing at the altar of comfort. And you will never see your destiny if you surrender every time you see a giant. Lions don't run from pressure, they hunt in it. They don't retreat when threatened, they advance. And here's what I've learned. Your roar becomes louder when your spirit becomes unshakable. You might not have all the answers. You might not have all the support. But if you've got boldness in your spirit, if you've got fire in your bones, if you've got vision in your eyes, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop you. Let me tell you something the enemy doesn't want you to hear. You are more dangerous than you think. You are stronger than your struggle. You are bigger than your setback. You are fiercer than your fear. But you've got to stop walking around like prey when you were created to be a predator. You've got to stop playing small when you were born to rule. You've got to stop apologizing for being powerful when your God has crowned you with dominion. Do you think the lion second guesses itself before a battle? No. It walks in like it's already won. That's how you must face life. Not with doubt, but with declaration. Not with excuses, but with execution. And hear me clearly. You don't surrender when life gets hard. You stand up taller. You don't quit when the bills pile up. You fight harder. You don't cower when critics surround you. You roar louder. You are the lion. And lions never negotiate with fear. They never bow to anxiety. They never whisper in the face of chaos. They walk in, they face it, and they conquer it. So I dare you today to take that fear and burn it, to take that anxiety and crush it, to take that worry and silence it with your discipline, your drive, and your divine assignment. Because let me tell you something, you weren't just born to survive. You weren't just born to exist. You were born to conquer, to build, to reign, and to roar. So never surrender. Not to fear. Not to failure. Not to fatigue. Because the lion in you was born for the battlefield. The lion has certainty. It moves with absolute belief. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you moved like you knew you were chosen? When was the last time you pursued your purpose like you were born for it? When was the last time you acted with certainty, not just hope? Because lions don't move with doubt. They move with dominion. Lions don't pace around second-guessing every step. They decide. They go. They own the moment. Let me tell you something life-changing. Uncertainty is the enemy of destiny. You cannot walk into your calling if you keep walking like you're unsure whether you belong there. You cannot shift a generation if you're still asking for permission to be great. You cannot break limits if you're still worried about being accepted by people who live in cages. Lions don't ask for permission. They don't tiptoe around opinions. They don't seek validation from the zoo. They were born for the wild. Born to rule. Born with clarity. Certainty is spiritual. It's not just a mindset, it's a revelation. You must know who you are. You must know why you're here. You must know what God placed inside you, and you must refuse to live beneath that truth another day. Listen to me, when the lion hunts, it doesn't chase with maybe. It doesn't go in with what if. It doesn't run on plan B. No. It hunts with intention. It hunts with focus. It hunts like it's already eaten the victory. That's how you must go after your dreams. That's how you must walk into meetings. That's how you must start your business. That's how you must raise your children. That's how you must live your life, like you were born for this. Let me make it plain. You cannot be effective and uncertain at the same time. You cannot build with power while walking in hesitation. You cannot inspire others if you're still questioning your own value. Certainty is not arrogance. It's alignment. It's when your mind agrees with your purpose. When your actions match your identity. When your spirit says, "This is who I am," and nothing, no struggle, no critic, no failure, will make me forget it. You think lions stop and check if other animals believe in them? You think they scroll through opinions before they strike? No. They believe in themselves. Period. So let me declare this over your life. Believe in your God-given ability. Believe in the fire God put in your belly. Believe in the assignment that wakes you up in the middle of the night. Believe in your grind, your gift, your growth. Believe in your call, and then answer it with everything you've got. You will not rise with doubt. You will not dominate with fear. You will not conquer with confusion. It's time to lock in. Decide who you are, and move like your crown is already on your head. Because lions don't try to be kings. They are. And so are you. The lion fights for freedom, the power of living untamed. Freedom is not a luxury for a lion, it's non-negotiable. A lion will never trade its wildness for comfort. It will never surrender its territory for approval. It will never bow to captivity, not in a cage, not in the mind, not in the spirit. Because freedom is the breath of the lion. It's what makes the roar real. It's what gives the lion its presence, its power, and its unchallenged rule. Now hear me clearly. Most people aren't living. They're just breathing inside someone else's limits. They're trapped in mental cages built by culture, by fear, by religion, by family, by failure. They've exchanged wild purpose for safe routine. They've been tamed by doubt, silenced by systems, and trained to obey comfort zones. But lions don't live like that. They don't stay in pens. They don't beg for scraps. They claim what's theirs. Let me ask you, when did you stop fighting for your own freedom? Freedom to dream without fear of failure. Freedom to speak your truth even if it shakes the room. Freedom to walk away from toxic circles. Freedom to start again. Freedom to become who you were born to be, even if they don't understand it. Lions defend their freedom, not with noise, but with action. They walk boldly. They live freely. They guard their territory, their peace, their mind, their calling. You must do the same. Because, listen, you weren't created to live on a leash. You weren't created to shrink for others. You weren't created to live life on mute. You were created to roar, to walk in divine dominion, to break out of anything trying to cage your calling. Let me go deeper. Freedom is not just physical. It's mental. It's spiritual. It's emotional. Some of you aren't bound by chains. You're bound by opinions. You're not locked in a room. You're locked in comparison. You're not imprisoned by bars. You're imprisoned by your past. But the lion teaches us this. You don't beg for freedom. You fight for it. You don't ask for permission. You take your place. It's time to break out. Break out of fear. Break out of shame. Break out of the lies that told you you weren't enough. Break out of systems that silenced your voice. Break out of every box they put you in and set it on fire. This is your life. This is your time. This is your roar returning. Because you were not born to live caged. You were born to live called. And those who are called must live free. Let the lion in you rise. We're not done yet. Now let's talk about something sacred. The lion protects what matters. The spirit of fierce purpose. A lion doesn't fight for everything. But when something matters, when something is sacred, when something carries weight in its spirit, the lion becomes a warrior without apology. This isn't about aggression. It's about alignment. Because lions don't waste energy. They focus it. Let me speak to your soul. There are some things in life that deserve your fight. Your purpose, your family, your peace, your vision, your identity, your legacy. If it's worth waking up for, if it gives your life meaning, if it makes your heart burn, then it's worth protecting with everything you've got. You don't need a sword. You need clarity. You don't need to bark louder. You need focus. A lion doesn't go chasing every animal in the jungle. It chooses its battles wisely. It knows what's worth its energy. And you must too. Stop fighting small battles with people who don't even matter. Stop wasting your energy defending your dream to those who stopped dreaming. Stop losing your roar in arguments that don't deserve your volume. Guard your assignment. Defend your peace. Protect your mission. Listen, there are dream thieves in this world. There are destiny distractors. There are energy drainers, peace snatchers, purpose killers. And if you don't protect what's yours, they will take it and laugh while doing it. But when a lion rises and says, "This is mine. This vision is mine. This calling is mine. This fire is mine," everything around it shifts. Because now, they're not just dealing with potential. They're facing conviction. And conviction is unshakable. You must be willing to guard your territory. Not in pride, but in purpose. Not in fear, but in fierce love for what God placed in your hands. Ask yourself, what is worth protecting with my life? What will I not allow to be stolen, silenced, or sold? Your voice, your calling, your next generation, your spiritual walk, your mental health, your dream business, your gift to the world. Then protect it like a lion. You don't need to explain your boundaries to people who benefit from you having none. You don't need to apologize for being fierce about your calling. You don't need to feel guilty for saying no when yes would cost you your future. A lion draws the line. And once that line is drawn, nothing crosses it without consequence. That's how you walk in the spirit of fierce purpose. Now, we enter the domain of greatness. The lion operates with extreme competence, mastery over mediocrity. A lion isn't just a predator, it's a master of its craft. It's a specialist. It's a consistent performer. It doesn't just show up, it shows up prepared. Lions may rest for 20 hours a day, but when it's time to move, They move with precision. They don't just hunt. They hunt with purpose. They don't just protect. They protect with excellence. A lion doesn't try to be great. It's committed to greatness. It doesn't settle for survival. It thrives in the wild because it has mastered the art of being a lion. You see, mediocrity is the enemy of the lion's destiny. The lion doesn't settle for average. It doesn't make excuses. It doesn't blame the environment or the competition. It doesn't wait for the right time. It creates it. Because excellence isn't something you hope for. Excellence is something you build. Here's the truth. You can be talented and still not perform. You can be gifted and still be stuck in the same place. You can have potential and still be average. But the lion doesn't give excuses for its lack of performance. It doesn't say, "I'm waiting for the right moment." It doesn't say, "I'll just do enough to get by." It does what it takes to be the best at what it does. It becomes the go-to for quality. It delivers every single time. It holds itself to a higher standard, not for applause, but because excellence is in its nature. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you operated at your best? When was the last time you brought your A game? When was the last time you didn't just work hard, but worked with laser focus and mastered your craft? When was the last time you refused to settle for anything less than your best self? A lion's purpose isn't to be good enough. Its purpose is to dominate its environment with precision and power. Mastery doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens by putting in the work. It happens by committing to your craft. It happens by refusing to settle for mediocrity in anything you do. The lion doesn't just wake up and hunt. It wakes up and strategizes. It doesn't just run after prey. It runs with focus. If you're going to be great, you must master your craft. You must become so good, so focused, so relentless that your presence alone commands respect. This is your call to greatness, to excellence in everything you do. Be the lion who works smarter, harder, and better than anyone else in the jungle. Be the lion who refuses to stay average when the world needs your greatness. Be the lion who trains with ferocity, who focuses with intensity, and who delivers with precision. Because when you walk into the room, the world shouldn't just see you as a player in the game. They should see you as the one who rewrote the rules. As we end, remember this. The lion doesn't need to explain its roar. The jungle already knows. It doesn't need to announce its power. The kingdom already feels it. It doesn't need to ask if it's enough, because in the lion's mind, it was born to lead. So today, ask yourself, are you living like the lion you were born to be? Are you rising to your fullest potential? Are you protecting your freedom? Are you guarding your purpose with everything inside you? Are you sharpening your skills to dominate your craft? If not, then it's time for you to become the lion. It's time to roar. It's time to hunt. It's time to own everything that belongs to you. You are stronger than any challenge. You are fiercer than any opposition. You are born for greatness. You are the lion. And nothing, no one, can stop you. This is your time. Now go out there and claim your jungle. The world is waiting for your roar.
Thank you for watching. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more life-changing teachings from Dr. Myles Munroe.